1 key, Brutal Hydra, full auto, and it should work on every single rotation. 29.4 million damage is what you need, but we're going to be using none of the meta champions. So no Nekmothar, no Duchess, no Siphi, no Krisk, none of that nonsense. Hopefully, guys, in today's video, I can share with you all a team that's going to make it a lot easier for you to actually 1 key Brutal. But I want to know, what difficulty of Hydra are you currently working on or struggling with? I want to know where you guys are at so I know what kind of content to make and where to tailor it towards. But today, I want to share with you guys this team. I think it's pretty cool. So hit battle. This is the one I used the first time, but don't worry, Venus is not required whatsoever because you can use our good old trusty pal, Geomancer. Now, Geomancer may be considered a top tier Hydra champion, but he's an epic champion, right? So you can probably get away with pulling some more Ancients, hopefully, or some Sacreds and maybe getting him. But if not, you can use Venus or really probably a lot of other damage dealers, to be honest. This spot is kind of flexible, but the team that I use with the best success is this Venus, Chamel, Mithrala, Uuko, Molly, and Shamrock team. So this team should work perfectly fine on all rotations. Matter of fact, this rotation right here, Chamel, doesn't really do that much unless we get lucky with Torment actually spawning. And once it spawns, once it comes out, then the run just blasts off and is so much better. But if you don't want to use Chamel on the rotations where the head of Torment is not starting off, then just swap them out for somebody else. And you guys can figure that out on yourself. I think you're smart. But if you want to make it full auto, majority of rotations, it should be fine every single rotation because your damage is coming from Void Affinity champions, then just run this team and you're going to be perfectly fine. So we're going to go over the champions. I'm going to show you guys a replay of this team at the end. But remember, you can swap out different champions for this leader spot, specifically Geomancer. Maybe Husk and Royal Guard. I know Geomancer works. Ninja should be able to work as well. But for me, I think Venus is just the best. I mean, she's a very good champion. Maybe Sishia. Sishia does some kind of similar stuff with a decreased defense and weaken, plus some burn. So maybe you can try her out. But I don't have her because I didn't pull the shards for her. But either way, let's go ahead and jump in here, talk about the builds of these champions, and then I'll show you guys the actual run. So, Mithrala, this is what she's currently looking at. Good HP, 50,000 plus. Good defense, 32, 3,500 plus. She's looking good. As far as her speed, this is my arena Mithrala. So she's really fast. I do think most of these champions, the goal would be like 250 speed. If you can't get that, try to get that, but that should be perfectly fine. Okay, 296 I think is a bit overkill, but it worked out very well. So I can't guarantee that, but push her speed to be pretty fast. She brings a lot of valuable stuff to the team. In the cleanse plus the hex is very, very nice, along with the increased defense and increased attack. She's just an amazing champion. She also has smite, or brimstone. Brimstone places the smite, really helps out a lot, especially having 2 champions with smite, because now instead of one of your smite champions or your brimstone champions getting swallowed or getting eaten, and then you're like, okay, how do I free this champion quickly? Well, if you have another champion with brimstone, then you have a higher chance of actually breaking that champion free once one of the heads do an active skill, does smite. It does a lot of damage. So definitely try to get smite on your champions if you can. And then as far as the masteries, this is what I have as far as the arena, or not arena build. This should work okay in the arena. It's not very great for arena, but it's much, much better for Hydra. The War Master is so good. Really, if you're wanting to push out some damage on your support champions, you're just going to need War Master. Everything else, pretty typical, but decide where you want to use your Mithrala. If it's for the arena only, then don't do this build. If it's for Hydra and arena, this is working out pretty well. She's still going to perform basically the same as she always did in my arena team. Next champion, I don't want to show Venus just yet because she's not as important. Next champion is Mighty Uuko. So Mighty Uuko's masteries, same as Mithrala, not very arena focused. I do use him in arena, not necessarily. Actually, he's basically Hydra focused. So this build works out perfect in Hydra, but it also works out pretty well in the arena. If I wanted him to be only arena though, it'd be quite a bit different, especially since I have stun gear. This is where the biggest difference in the split between Hydra and arena comes from with Uuko. This still works out great, but if you can, throw him in Provoke, throw him in Guardian, throw him in some set that's going to make sense. Because this one, guys, it's not making sense, to be honest. This set is not great, but as far as his stats go, good HP. Honestly, the defense is a little bit lacking. Having closer to 3,000, 3,500 would be much better. The speed, he's very fast. Like I said with Mithrala, though, you don't have to be 290 speed. 250, 270 on a support champion shouldn't be that difficult. As far as the accuracy, you want to make sure at least 280. Matter of fact, let me share with you guys this right here. This right here is going to show you the stats you need for whatever difficulty you're doing. So let me hide my face real quick. You guys can screenshot this if you want, but this is going to show the accuracy needed for your difficulty and the resistance needed. So you can see on Brutal, 280 accuracy is needed, and that's exactly what we're at. So make sure all your support champions, your debuff champions, if you want them to land those debuffs, make sure they're hitting those stats. So Mighty Uuko, this is his build, works out great, and he does some pretty decent damage. Before, I had him in some different masteries, but that's neither here nor there, so we're not going to talk about it. Next champion we have is Molly Tankard. So Molly is actually in a set that's unique, Reflex. Honestly, I like Relentless more than Reflex in 99% of cases, except for Molly's. So Molly, her A2 ability places a Provoke, which is incredible, very good on the head of decay, makes the Hydra run so much more consistent, but it also places Reflect damage for 2 turns on this champion. So this is on a 3-turn duration. So if she's able to get that decreased in duration or decreased in the cooldown, then she's able to keep that Reflect damage up basically 100% of the time, which is incredible. Have a lot of chances of Provoke, meaning that she can double as a Mischief tank as well as a head of decay control champion. She also brings a res. Mighty Uuko also has a res, which is great, but his res, he does whenever he wants. He places the speed, and he's kind of just, you know, freely throwing out speeds and reses all over the place and usually doesn't actually res a champion, whereas Molly will actually res a champion. Will only use this if somebody is dead. Matter of fact, she can't use it unless somebody is dead. She also brings a passive that boosts allies' turn meter when this champion's hit, which is incredible because, yeah, more speed, more turn meter. It's just going to be a better day in the Hydra. So as far as your masteries go, this is kind of an arena build. Honestly, you guys can customize this however you want because this build, there's not really a whole lot of extra damage you could squeeze from Molly. You could go War Master, but she got a single target hit, so it's not really much damage going to be coming from War Master anyways. So for me, I use her in the arena. It's not worth switching it to anything else, and this gets me the 1 key, so it's no problem whatsoever. The next champion I want to talk about is, okay, 1 second. Let me talk about her gear real quick, okay? So her gear, good HP. 50,000 plus is my ideal range. 3,500 plus defense, she's great. 285 speed, 320 resistance. Taking a look at this sheet over here, in order to resist all the heads on Brutal, I would need 450 resistance and 280 accuracy. I have the accuracy, I do not have the resistance. This is where the decreased accuracy from Uuko is a huge role. So definitely that decreased accuracy is very important, and if not, you're going to have to boost her resistance up if you want her to be a tank, as well as placing that Provoke, which if she's slower, may not be a huge deal, but just keep that in mind. You kind of want to decide where your gear is. For me, I was lucky enough to have it all lay out perfectly, and this is what I have her at currently. So this is looking pretty good so far, in my opinion. I don't have any Ascensions. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good too. That's useless. But yeah, maybe I actually fully awaken these. These are pretty good pieces of gear for real. Next champion, though, is Shamrock. So Shamrock, his gearing was a little bit different because he brings a single target on the A1. It hits twice, but it's no AoE stuff anywhere in his kit. So there's no reason for War Master, but his A3 places decreased speed. On the 4 Hydra heads, Oppressor gives you 2.5% turn meter for each active debuff cast by this champion. Well, let's go ahead and do it. So you have 2.5 plus 2.5. That's going to be 5%. And then times it by 2 because there's 4 Hydra heads, or 2.5% times 4 should be 10%, right? So you have your speed, or decreased speed on all the Hydra heads. You have Oppressor giving him 10% turn meter fill rate increased. Even if it's 5%, that's still great. I mean, nothing else down here. I was like, yeah, he definitely needs that. War Master, not really needed. So Oppressor helps him get around through his stuff more buffs, more debuffs, more turn meter. Overall, great champion. Very, very useful in Hydra, to be honest. So if he was in your vault, go ahead and take him out. Especially if you have this team, these champions, he should be great. So as far as his gear, I went with Guardian. I didn't really know of anything better. Honestly, I still can't think of anything better. So if you guys can think of something better, put him in that. But if you can't, just throw him in a broken set. If you don't have Guardian gear, not a big deal. Really good HP, good defense, good speed. The accuracy, you do need at least 280 once again. You could maybe try to build him as a Mischief tank. Maybe throw on some Blood Shield stuff. Allow him to do single target abilities. And then maybe get his resistance pretty high. Maybe that could help in case Molly was eaten. But either way, this is his current build. His abilities are very, very nice, though. This is really what all ties this team together. His A1 places an increased defense and an increased speed. Very, very nice. The increased crit rate, don't really care about because we're not actually building around that. It's nice if it lands on support champion, but doesn't really matter. His A2, though, this is what's amazing. So it places a revive on death and a chance at placing continuous heal on allies below 50% HP. Meaning, if your champions are about to die, and he does this, they're going to be revived on death versus having to worry about Molly using her res to get that champion up. So a lot of the time, especially since this is a 3-turn cooldown, he's placing that revive on death when champions are getting pretty low. Also keeping the increased defense up, the increased speed, and placing a decreased speed and also boosting the turn meter of all allies by 15% if any enemy's turn meter is below 50%. So he has a lot of turn meter manipulation, increased speed. Overall, a great champion, especially on this team. I think he works out very, very well. Now, as far as my Geomancer, the Geomancer I had in the team shown in the previous screenshot. So I don't know if I showed these yet already. I've done a few attempts at this recording, but we have Geomancer in this team right here, 34.3 million damage. There we go, Geomancer. This is what he was wearing. He was wearing Provoke gear, got a few Provokes off, which is nice. This is his gear. This is my Nightmare Hydra Geomancer, and it worked out perfect. Throw Provoke on him if you can. Having an extra Provoker alongside Molly is only going to make the team work even better. But if you can't get it, no problem whatsoever. Just make sure his stats are good HP, good defense, good speed. Speed is very, very important. And then good accuracy. And then the other champion who I actually plan on running this team consistently with is Venus. So Venus is going to be built like your typical damage dealer. She's going to have good survivability, very important for Hydra. So good HP, good defense. The speed, I want it to be as fast as I can while keeping 100% crit rate and good crit damage. Also, the unique thing about Venus is that you got to place your debuffs. So she needs at least 280 accuracy to place that decreased defense and weaken, plus the HP burn. So it does work with Geomancer. Geomancer is the more achievable route, but if you don't have Geo, not a huge deal. You can definitely go with a different champion. So hopefully that's everybody. It's not, I forgot Chamel. So Chamel is built not to Mischief Tank, though you could build him to Mischief Tank, but for me, he is my other main damage dealer. So I have him currently in Relentless also. However, this run right here, my best run was actually with him in just broken sets of gear, about 210 speed, I think, and then like 230 crit damage and some decent attack. So this is more tanky, more survivable. I was seeing if Relentless makes this a little bit better. I'm not for sure if it does, but his masteries are as follows. We have Giant Slayer, very, very important, makes him do a lot more damage. And yeah, this Chamel works out very well, makes his team very consistent, especially on the Head of Torment. So definitely, if you have those champions, try them out. This team so far has worked out very well for me, and you don't have to worry about any setup in the beginning because Molly just needs to land that Provoke on the Head of Decay, and you're going to be perfectly fine. Like, the team works pretty smooth. Now, if you want it to be 100% consistent and actually do the one key, you are going to want to click the heads, but if not, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to do this run. I'm going to try to, actually, no, I want to show you guys the full auto run. So I'll just go ahead and free regroup. I'll show you, actually, matter of fact, no. What I'll do is I will show you guys this run. The other run was a little bit different because this one right here, I clicked on a few of the heads. This one back here, I think I changed a few of the builds since then. So it should be even better than it was before. So I'll go ahead and start this run, do it on full auto. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you all very much for watching this video. Let me know, like I said, what difficulty of Hydra you're on. And with that said, best of luck building these champions. If you have any questions whatsoever, leave them in the comment section below. I'm going to try to start doing these Hydra videos a little bit more concise. So hopefully that didn't drag out too much. But with that said, like I said, enjoy the video, enjoy the run. And oh, one more thing. With the positioning, make sure that you have your damage dealers in the front. So Chamel boosts the leader's turn meter, but if Venus is eaten, then you want a champion who can do damage pretty well in the higher spots. For me, it's Chamel, because the Hex from Mithrala is making us spread some more damage, but you could do Uuko. I wouldn't have anybody else up there. Honestly, it should be Uuko after Chamel in case something weird happens. But if Chamel dies, then he's not going to be boosting turn meter anyways. That's only for the Head of Torment. But either way, guys, enjoy the run. Hopefully we one key, and I'll catch you all in the next video.